Welcome back. This is Kevin Huckabee with What the Huck Presents, and I hope all is well with you, and I also hope you've been enjoying this story. This is the last episode of this mini-series, The Incorrigible Sir Hemingsworth. Let's go. Chapter 4. That's just wrong. Universal Vibration 4481.3. Officers Gick and Matty Torb appear in the middle of full-blown chaos as the Nephilim of this earth have begun brutally fighting amongst themselves. The giants are so engaged in their slaughter that they don't even notice the two officers from Mom scanning the stone altar they arrived on for traces of an incursion by Hemingsworth. That is, until interrupted by Officer Torb. Denizens of this verse, if you could please stop what you're doing, we would appreciate your cooperation. No response. The giant Nephilim continue tearing into each other viciously. Officer Glick, now done with their scan, presses a button on the standard wrist gauntlet that all Mom officers are issued, creating an explosion above the warring giants that makes them cease hostility as they look up in wonder. Officer Torb addresses them once again. Denizens of verse 4481.3. Down here, please. The five giants finally look down, taking notice of the officers of Mom.
Look, more meat, brothers. We can devour these ones, since we've already devoured all the meat on this planet, and the last two got away.
No, that would be a bad idea, because any threat against an officer of Mom will be met with deadly force. I urge you to choose wisely, says Officer Torb. The hungry giants look at each other and laugh heavily at the officers.
What could you small ones possibly do to me, Azazel, king of the Nephilim?
The giant asks sarcastically, with Officer Torb now holding up his left wrist gauntlet. He responds, I really hate to do this, but if you need a demonstration, one can be provided. But just as Torb is about to press a button on his gauntlet, Officer Glick holds up one of their four-fingered hands and says, Oh, you want to do it? Well, be my guest, partner. Officer Glick presses a button on their gauntlet, and the head of the lead Nephilim, Azazel, suddenly disappears, causing his headless 12-foot body to fall backwards with a thundering impact. In some distant verse, on an earth that is constantly burning, Azazel's head appears, and in its final thought, only one word comes to the giant's mind.
Oh!
The head immediately melts, engulfed in never-ending flames. But back in UV 4481.3, the remaining giants are now looking at each other, not knowing what to do. The giant with the eye patch says,
Well, that's just wrong.
With Officer Torb saying, Now that we have your attention, if you could please tell us if you've seen this being. Officer Torb presses another button on his wrist gauntlet that produces a holographic image of Sir Hemingsworth. As the four remaining giants bend to get a look, one of them immediately stands straight up and exclaims,
Hey, that's one of the meat that got away. Him and a female piece of meat. We were about to dine on them, but then a bright light shone from above, and none of us could no longer move.
One of the other giants jumps in.
And we heard a voice from the light, and next the meat was gone, both of them. And then we noticed our holy relic was gone. Right. So angry were we started fighting each other. Then you showed up, making heads disappear.
This holy relic of yours, can you describe it? Asked Officer Torb. Now, back in the space of an unknown verse, aboard the Star Taker's ship, the boat, in the large captain's cabin of Gema Nestal, Camille and Hemingsworth are now standing side by side with Dogface and another pirate behind them with their energy-bladed cutlasses drawn, barring the door. A visibly vexed Gema Nestal paces back and forth in front of them, quickly losing patience as she questions them about where the first artifact, called the Chethel, is located. Now that you're here, my darling Edward, are you going to tell me where the Chethel is, or continue to deceive me as you've always done? Before you answer, be aware that there will be consequences for more lies. Gema, my delightful darling, when have I ever deceived you? Gema stops pacing, turning her back to Hemingsworth and Camille. She says, when have you ever deceived me? Let's see. Now, slowly turning to face Hemingsworth, Gema continues. How about when I rescued you from your pitiful terror and you wormed your way into my heart, learned about the gold and silver compacts, the map to find the components of the diviner device, and learning about the invisible flame, then leaving me, taking with you the golden compact and the map without so much as one word. Now, does that answer your question about when have you ever deceived me? Camille, with a uh-oh look, quickly says, whoa, dude, you messed up. Silence! A now infuriated Gema yells, returning to her interrogation. One last time, Hemingsworth. Where is the Chethel? Lie to me again, and I shall use the Brain Eater on your pet, who has already revealed to me that you have the artifact in your possession. Hemingsworth immediately scratches his head to look to his left at Camille, and through closed teeth whispers, What did you tell her? Camille, with a sorrowful nervousness on her face, looks at Hemingsworth and slowly shrugs her shoulders. An impatient Gema says, Edward, wanting a response to her query. But Camille interrupts. Excuse me, I have a quick question. What is a brain eater? Gema, now gazing upon Camille with squinted, distrustful eyes, says, It is a worm that we found on a particularly nasty terra that enters through the ear or nose or mouth of its victim and, as the name implies, eats their brain. Well, why don't you use it on him? He's the one that broke your heart. Hey! Because you cantankerous cow, I need his brain intact to locate the Chethel. You, however, are disposable. Man, I see why you guys were together and why he left. Enough! Hemingsworth, will you answer truthfully, or shall I fetch the worm? Asks a now fed up Gema. Hemingsworth says, Darling, surely we can come to some sort of civilized agreement. No. No more agreements. No more lies. And no more time. Watch them, crewmen, as I retrieve the brain eater, says Gema, yelling across the room to Dogface and the other pirate guarding the door.
Aye, Captain.
Gema then disappears into an adjoining room to her large cabin, leaving Camille and Hemingsworth standing side by side and the pirates at the door. Hemingsworth looks over his shoulder to see if the pirates are far enough away from him and Camille to not hear him whisper to her. Feeling confident that they are far enough to not hear him whisper, he says, Listen, we don't have much time. Do you see the silver compact connected to that control panel over there? Yeah, I saw it when I came in. Good. I'm going to provide a distraction. When I do, go over to the panel, and under the silver compact is a yellow button. Press it, and it will deactivate the compact's null vibration. Can you do that? Camille gives Hemingsworth a nod yes, and he then springs into action, heading towards the room Gema disappeared into, loudly saying, Gema, darling, I'm ready to talk, causing the guarding pirates to pursue him.
Aye, where do you think you're going?
No, it's fine. I'm going to talk to Gema. Gema, darling! Camille quickly but carefully approaches the control panel with the silver compact connected to it. She sees the yellow button that Hemingsworth told her to press, and she does. But to her personal dread, it seems as if nothing happens. Just then, the pirates return, physically forcing Hemingsworth, who towers over them, back to the side of Camille, who, after pressing the button, has returned to where they were standing, with Dogface yelling,
And don't move again, or by the maker, I'll kill all ya in an asteroid field.
Gema walks out slowly, holding what appears to be a clear fish tank with what looks like a coiled up snake in it. She smiles devilishly and says, It's been a while since it fed. I'm sure it's ravenous by now. Eyeing Camille with evil intent and slowly approaching her, giving her time to see what's in store for her, Gema says, This is going to be enjoyable. Suddenly, the ship is rocked to one side, almost forcing Gema to drop the tank. As the ship is righted by the helmsman on the bridge, the sliding door to Gema's cabin opens, and a short, portly pirate with the snout of a pig forces his way between the two guarding pirates and yells,
Captain, we're being attacked. It's Mom.
No! I'm headed to the bridge. Crewmen, stay and guard these two. If they move, you know what to do.
Aye, Captain,
says Dogface. Gema looks at the other guarding pirate and the piggy pirate and says, And you two, come with me.
Aye, Captain.
As the three of them leaves and the sliding door closes behind them, the ship jarringly rocks to the side once again, this time with enough force to cause Dogface to fall into the side edge of the control panel, making him drop his cutlass. As he bends to pick the fallen energy blade back up, he stops mid-bend, knowing he just made a mistake. He slowly looks up to see Camille standing over him, and grumbles.
Ruh-oh!
Camille kicks him under his exposed chin, knocking him on his back and relieving the pirate of his consciousness. Hemingsworth utters, "Oh, my." Camille turns to him and snaps, "You're way bigger than him or any of them. Why didn't you do anything?" "You mean physically?" "Yes." "Oh, I don't involve myself in ruffianism, my dear. I leave that to the riff-raff," says Hemingsworth, eyeing Camille as if she's the riff-raff. "Whatever. What now?" "Follow me. I believe I know where Gema is keeping the golden compact and the second artifact we found when we were so unceremoniously taken." They hurriedly enter the adjoining room that Gema retrieved the brain eater from. While on the bridge of the boat, chaotic energy abounds, and Gema has now taken her captain's chair, looking intently at the ship's view screen as some of her crew scampers about manning their various posts. On the screen is a small but heavily armed ship staring back. Her gaze is interrupted by Officer Torb's voice coming across her ship's speakers. "Pirate vessel, do not engage your engines or null vibe. You are wanted by multiversal operations and maintenance for multiple infractions of multiversal law. If you do not comply, the next shot will not be a warning, but one to disable your ship. We have backup en route. Prepare to be boarded." Gema grits her teeth and asks, "Technician, how did they find us?" With a bespectacled, scruffy-faced pirate answering,
"I don't understand, Captain. My instruments say that our null vibration has been deactivated, which can only mean
that my silver compact has been deactivated. Arms!
Yes, Captain.
Fire on that ship!
Captain?
You heard me, you four-armed fool! Fire on that ship!"
Aye, Captain.
All four of the pirates' hands press various buttons as the weapons of the pirate ship roar to life and both ships begin to trade fire. Almost as soon as the firefight begins, the pirate ship rocks violently, with smoke beginning to fill the bridge from various panels on fire. The scruffy-faced pirate with glasses yells over the chaos, saying,
Captain, we've lost main engines and a stabilizer. 3 of our main guns are gone, and 4 more mom ships have arrived. What are your orders?"
With no reply, the scruffy-faced pirate quickly asks,
"Captain, orders."
With no reply, yet again, he looks over his shoulder to see an empty captain's seat. The ship rocks violently from a barrage of weapons fire from multiple mom ships, causing the tank of the brain eater that Gema brought with her to crash onto the deck of the bridge, freeing the brain eater. Gema struggles to keep her balance as she runs from the bridge to her cabin. She also can hear the terror-filled screams of her crew.
The brain eater's free!
Finally reaching the cabin and bolting into the room after the door slides open, she steps over a still unconscious Dogface and looks towards the panel that houses the silver compact. She growls as she sees that it has been deactivated, as the yellow button beneath the compact is no longer aglow. Gema quickly continues on into the adjoining room to the cabin. In the room, which could only be described as a large pirate's vault, Hemingsworth and Camille are standing amongst various treasures of all kind from the multiverse. They find the golden compact and the second artifact. "We gotta get out of here now." "Yes, I know. Don't you think I know? Hemingsworth nervously exclaims. Camille, with panic in her voice, asks, Okay, so what's up with the gold compact? Why isn't it working? Simple. She turned it off, says Hemingsworth, pressing the button underneath the golden compact to reactivate it. They both stare at the open compact, watching as the digital face slowly comes to life, with the pirate ship rocking from Mom's attack. The 30 seconds it takes for the golden compact to activate feels like an eternity to the two, making an anxious Camille clutch the second artifact tightly to her chest. Just then, the digital face of the compact appears and says, Well, hello. And where have you two been?
No time to explain, you slumbering subcomputer. Fully awaken and take me home.
With the ship filling with smoke and listing in space as Mom officers boarded, Gema finally reaches her vault just in time to hear and see a departing Hemingsworth and Camille fade with the golden compact and second artifact. Gema throws her head back and lets out a primal scream. Hemingsworth! To be continued in the 5th chapter of The Incorrigible Sir Hemingsworth.